What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. We're back here at the lodge, and this is the reason why we came down to Texas. It's the reason why we made this trip to Austin here, playing the 5-5 on a Saturday night. And it's gonna be the biggest game, biggest buy-in we've ever played in so far. So I'm pretty nervous. The stream's about to start soon. It's a little pan around the room. Hopefully you're not too dizzy by that, but we're gonna be in for about 10,000. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. Hopefully we don't punt off all our stacks, but hopefully if you watched it live, hopefully we'll put on a fun show for y'all. We'll see, wish us luck. Drop a like, because this one's gonna be a banger. See you on the felt. Hey guys, it's Ethan from the current day right now, and I am currently in my workspace and just trying to go over these orders as fast as I possibly can. I think I'm gonna be up until 3, 4, 5 a.m. again, fulfilling all the orders, but I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to everybody who has purchased one of these winning moment card protectors so far. I think it's always very silly that I'm able to sell merch and you guys see value in doing so. So as a token of appreciation, I'm giving away $500 to one person who purchases one of these. I'm going to be giving away and announcing the winner on my Instagram in 2 weeks. So if you already purchased one, you will already be added to the giveaway list. If you haven't already, you have 2 weeks to grab one of these bad boys. But yeah, currently gonna be up in this little workstation for a while to fulfill all these orders as fast as possible. So I can never thank you guys enough for all the support on the channel, the merch, and whatever I do in terms of just watching my videos in general. You guys are literally the only reason why I'm able to kind of live the lifestyle that I live, which is just play poker and be able to upload videos on YouTube for like a career. So always trying to give back and always very appreciative of every single one of your support. So like I said, giving away $500 in 2 weeks to one person who purchased one of these, and given that these are limited edition, your chances are pretty good into grabbing one. So the only thing I will say is that when you do order one of these, in the contact info, put in a working email, so I'll reach out there. So I'll be reaching out through email or phone number, whichever it may be, but put in the working email, and I will be announcing a winner on my Instagram story in 2 weeks. So feel free to go follow me there, but thank you so much for all the support, and let's get into the hands of this video. With $10,000 in front, the most amount I've ever bought into a game for, and with triple straddles for most of the night, we are playing a 5-5, 10, 20, 40, equivalent to a little bit larger than a 20-40 game. This is going to be nerve-wracking, and let's just get right into it. So you can see with the 5-5, 10, 20, 40 triple straddle on, we're in the big blind and we pick up Queen 10 of hearts with 10K in stack. We get the player in the hijack to limp in for $40. Now onto the button player Boots, who puts in a raise to $200. Small blind to my right also makes the call for 200, and here out of position. Having seen this player on the button make some light opens in past live streams, I decided to put in a raise and 3-bet this one, given we're multi-way. We're out of position, and I'm happy to take down the pot so far since rangers don't have to be super nutted. I put in the 3-bet. We start off hot to $900 given the action. Obviously, as you can see, we put in that 3-bet right up against aces. Not how we want to start off the night, but here on the button, Boots decides on a 4-bet and puts in a relatively small min-click 4-bet to $2,100. Joe, out of position, is smart enough to get out of the way. Onto me here, already putting in $900 pre-flop. Although we're out of position with a pretty marginal hand to play post in a 4-bet pot, I am not as smart and too stubborn. I put in a call for $1,200 more, and we're just gonna go to a flop already with $4,500 in the middle, starting things off hot and very, very nerve-wracking. So we go to a flop which comes King 3-4 all spades. If there was ever a flop I was not hoping to see, it's probably one that looks like this. I check here out of position with essentially nothing. As you can see, I've got 2% equity somehow. I don't even know how I'm even drawing anywhere alive, but I check. He throws out a small bet of $800. And onto me here, really not a whole lot to do. $800 into a $4,500 pot is really milky. I look at his stack, and I guess the only other option besides folding is to rip it all in for a ridiculous amount. So we're not going to get too crazy as the first hand that we're playing in the stream so far, and also in the biggest game we've ever played. Not the flop for us, a little too ambitious with that 3-bet out of position. I let this one go and try to move on. Next hand here, still with the 20-40 straddle, we are in essentially +1, but in the hijack with Queen Jack of hearts. Good hand to play, so I open things up and raise it up to $125, a little bit over 4x. Onto the button E, who has ace king. He decides to put in a 3-bet to $400. Action folds to me, and queen jack suited, certainly a playable hand, definitely good enough to defend. Once again, although we're out of position, not really loving it, but we're here to see some flops, here to play some hands, so we make the call, and let's see what happens. Going to a flop, which comes 10-5-5 rainbow, pretty neutral static board, and here definitely checking 100% of range to him. And as expected, I would expect him to bet 100% of range on this board texture as well. He obviously has a lot of ace highs, pocket pairs, over pairs, and a lot of other hands that probably didn't connect with this board too much. He decides to throw out a bet of $225, and although he doesn't ever really connect with this board, me opening from early position doesn't really make a whole lot of sense either, with not too many fives in range calling a 3-bet, but as a non-believer, I make the call with some backdoor opportunities. The turn is the 7 of spades, not one of those good cards for us to improve with our backdoor opportunities. So here I decided to just check and see what happens, hoping to see a check back of some sort. But this player has other plans and throws out a bet of $800. Sizing up 2/3 pot here, and I'm just not really thinking he has any, and I'm just really not believing him at this point. Obviously, playing bigger, playing 20-40, and probably against one of the better players at this table, certainly prone to bluffing a decent amount. And with queen jack high, I think it's really ambitious for me to just flat call this. Probably can just be making a move if I'm planning on doing something on later streets. But with queen jack high, I certainly think that sometimes hitting a queen or jack can be good for me, but I'm just making this call here, planning to lead on any river, hoping to take it down, and hoping he has some sort of ace high or worse holding. The river is the 3 of diamonds, so once again, a total brick, and this board just doesn't really hit any of our ranges. And with queen high, obviously, we're just not good in this instance, so trying to apply pressure and throw out a bet here that may or may not make a whole lot of sense from a theoretical standpoint. I throw out $2,000 as a bluff. It's nerve-wracking. $2,000 is double my normal buy-in at a 2-5 games, so bluffing for this amount with queen high, certainly just shaking in my seat right now and praying that this gets through. By far the biggest bluff that we've ever pulled off so far in my poker life and also on the vlog. So really hoping that I'm right here and this player has air, but he thinks for a while and is actually really suspicious with my bet because it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. He thinks about it for a while, tries to get some information out of me, but ultimately says that he does believe me and makes the fold. Luckily, we get this one through, but seeing that he was really suspicious of my bet, with even sitting with ace-king high, shows that I probably shouldn't be bluffing too much in this game. So we'll see how this goes. So about an hour passes before we play our next hand, and in this spot, we pick up ace-3 offsuit on the big blind, and action folds to the button boots, who throws out a raise to $75, given that we're playing 5-5, 10-20 in this instance. Small blind folds and onto me with ace-3 off. I think we're just going to have to defend against a button opening range, hoping all the other players behind me fold. So luckily that's what happens. We make the call and everyone else folds. Going heads up to a flop against a pretty wide range. Flop comes ace, deuce, 10 rainbow. Obviously top pair is good for us. We do have some kicker issues, but never folding. I check, he throws out a bet of $75, and like I said, we're just really never folding to an ace-high board when we actually have an ace in our hand, so definitely going to call on this flop and see a turn. Heads up, the turn comes the deuce of hearts, brings in 2 hearts out there, not really too concerned about it too often, but more or less really great card for us, as now we don't really have to be concerned about our 3 kicker. Given that the 10 is on the board there, feeling confident about my hand, I check, and he decides to throw another bet, and this time it's $250, sizing up a little bit. Expecting him to do this with all of his value and bluff holdings, obviously sitting with an ace and not really too worried about my kicker anymore. It's a pretty easy call for us, and we're just going to evaluate a river. Pot's building now. The river is the 9 of hearts, not an amazing card. We lose to ace-9, we lose to heart combos. So easy check for us for a 3rd time. Like I said, just trying to get the showdown. And onto Boots, who thinks for a while. So obviously, we see he's sitting with 5 high with no showdown. And in my head, while he's thinking things over, I think I just have to call off any bet here. Too exploitable to fold against a button opening range. And given the board texture and given our hand, I think it's just too weak to be folding. So I've already had it in my mind decided that I'm going to be calling whatever bet he throws out. This time he throws out a sizable one of 900. As you can see, snap call from us, and he shows us his 5 high. Took me a little bit to figure out what he had, but with a pair of aces, we're going to take this pot down, and I think at this point we finally climb out of the red into the black. In the very next hand we play, it's a fun one where there's a $25 splash pot. So every single person on the table puts in $25 in the middle, and we still play a normal 5, 5, 10, 20, 40 if the straddles are on. So we'll see what happens in this hand. With 225 in the middle, and we're in the small blind as well, we pick up pocket fives, and it's a really interesting configuration where we're essentially playing a much bigger game than normal because of all the legitimate dead money that's sitting in the middle that's up for grabs. So when the player in +3 limps for $10, we get another limp for $10. I'm assuming that people are very incentivized and priced in to just limp for $10 if possible. But player to my right on the button, he puts in a raise to $120. On to me, we're out of position. I don't necessarily love this spot, and I think calling 120 is totally fine, but I'm really incentivized to be aggressive and take down all the dead money in the middle, so I put in a 3-bet to $550. We're out of position. I don't want to see a flop multi-way, and happy to just take down all the dead money in the middle like I said, so luckily our 3-bet works out and it gets through. A little nerve-wracking with a small pocket pair, but felt like a good spot to squeeze, and happy it worked out in our favor this time. Hand following that, back in the small blind, looks like we just hate playing in position on this stream here. We pick up king, queen offsuit. Action starts off with a cutoff open to $35 playing 5, 5, 10. The button makes the call, and king, queen off in the small blind. Once again, it's kind of the same deal where we're actually doing really well against normal cutoff opening ranges. So we're out of position, definitely want to raise this up and isolate, or at least take down the money pre potentially. I put in a 3-bet to $160 sizing up. Action folds back to the cutoff player, who can definitely be opening up a little bit wider than normal here. He decides on a defend for 160, and that entices the button player to call 160 as well. So we're going 3 ways out of position. Not really loving this configuration, but when the flop comes king, queen, 4, 2 diamonds, we're feeling pretty good about it. With top 2 pair, we definitely can't go wrong with this one, and definitely going to be c-betting this one, obviously, trying to bet for value, and not really sure what kind of hand I'm targeting considering we do have the board locked up. I bet out $175, pretty small 1/3 pot bet. The cutoff folds, and you can see on the button he's open-ended, and he's going to make the call for 175. Trying to fade a 9 or ace on this turn. Of course, the turn is the ace of spades. Not loving this situation, and not really feeling amazing about my hand at this point as well. Given that there are 2 flush draws out there, I certainly can just bet out again. With 2 pair, I feel pretty decent about my holding, but I feel like equities can run pretty slim here, and given we're out of position, wanted to check for a little bit of pot control, maybe make this a little bit more sizable to navigate rivers. Obviously with the button hitting the nut straight, he's definitely not checking this back, and he sides on a bet of $275. Pretty small sizing for us to continue and make the call. Not saying that I hate this spot, but it's a really easy call for us priced in to just see a river, hoping to see a brick, and we might have to call down most rivers. But when the river comes the ace of clubs, runner, runner, aces, our hand strength has been immediately downgraded. And I have one of 2 options, I think. One, I can probably just check fold sometimes, or in this instance, I can actually just block bet. And I think that we can get a lot of king X's to just call and control the size of the pot. We hear from trip aces as a raise. Just wanted to kind of set my own price as to what goes on this river here. I decided to block bet $425. In hindsight, not sure how amazing this is, but obviously given the exact holding this player has with the nut straight, he puts in a raise, and honestly, I don't even know how much the raise is. It might have been a little bit under $1,000, a little bit under $1,200, but with king, queen off, sitting with just pretty much a pair of kings and the queen kicker, we're going to make an easy fold and give up on this one. let this one go and let him take it down. The hand of the night, the hand that has been haunting me for a while now. We pick up ace-9 of clubs on the hijack, and we get the +3 player to my right who opened limps for $40. Playing 20-40 essentially, I put in a raise to $150 with a playable, decent hand. Action folds to the button player who, as you can see, has a pretty strong premium, puts in the 3-bet to $500, and action folds to me. All I can say in preface is that this was one big leveling war in my head. I'm definitely aware of myself knowing that I am probably the most inexperienced player at the table, probably the least skilled player at the table, so ace-9 suited certainly can fold pre-flop, but like I said, we're here to play hands, and I decided to call for 500 total, going to a flop out of position. The flop comes 10 deuce 6, 2 diamonds, and you can see what I'm holding, and you're probably thinking, why is this even a little bit significant? Why are you in this hand? Like, this looks like such a boring hand. The button's just going to c-bet with his overpair, and you're just going to fold because you have absolutely nothing. You have actually less than nothing. But yeah, for $350, pretty small bets. This was just a leveling war for me. I bluffed him off the first hand with queen high. I'm going to float the flop again with ace high as a non-believer for one reason or another. The turn comes the king of clubs, and now you're thinking, wow, Ethan, you have less than nothing now, and you're up against top set. What's going through your mind? And all I can say is a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of non-believing. I guess some hands that we are still ahead of are some diamond holdings, even though that's pretty flawed logic because we don't block the ace of diamonds, and most of his 3-betting hands are going to be higher ace high diamonds with a better kicker than a 9. So when he sizes up to $1,300 here, I'm praying he has a hand like queen jack. No showdown. Honestly, in real time, I thought this pot was a $1,300, not $1,800, so the math was a little bit wrong. I thought he bet a pot size bet. Obviously, it was not. It's just like closer to 2/3, and it's pretty good sizing. I thought it was a little bit bluffy. Like I said, just thought about this one for a while, and the fold button is really easy to click when you have nothing and next to nothing, but a little too ambitious. Maybe wanted to be too much of a hero on stream. But for $1,300, we decided on a call with ace-9 of nothing. Going to a river. The river, as you can see, he already has the check mark. It doesn't even matter. The river is the 8 of spades. So I have a 9 in hand. You could say that I block 9-7 for the nuts, but that just doesn't even matter. We're out of position, and honestly, in my head at this point, I really thought that sometimes my ace high can be good here. I decided to check and not lead out on this river. Leading out definitely would have saved me some money, but yeah, I was hoping that this player would actually throw out a pretty large sizing to look like a bluff, and then I could maybe potentially hero it off with ace high. But he doesn't do that. He bets out a very good, adequate value-like sizing of half pot of $2,200, and as you can see in my stack, I've got 7,200, about 5,000 on top and more. Things just have always been off the rails from the start of this hand, but it has never gone more off the rails when I level myself into thinking, let's be a hero, let's just try to get him to fold. Why am I bluffing the best player at this table twice? Who knows, man? What's going on in my head? Absolutely nothing. Nothing smart and nothing really good at all. So, yeah, have you ever seen one person light up more money on fire in the worst way possible than this? I think things over. Reach for one red chip. I always like to do the all-ins with the lowest denomination and one chip of it and announce it because I think it looks cool. But it doesn't look cool when you do it and you just, before you even announce the all-in, yeah, you run into it. This one hurt a lot. Have you ever seen the face of someone who wants to sink into the back of the chair and disappear more than this? But you can't do it because you're on live stream. You're doing this all in public, and just this one hurt. So that is all. Welcome to the biggest pot I've ever lost. welcome to the live stream. Welcome to me just really wanting to take my bag and run, but we reload for $10,000 more, hoping to maybe find a way to claw back somehow. So, always a little painful to show a big loss like this, the biggest loss I've ever faced. Donked off a lot, and it's a little more painful to have it on live stream as well. Hopefully you guys enjoy the transparency. This is certainly a low one, definitely like a low point, facing a session like this, especially in a spot where I think like if I just didn't even get involved, it was like so avoidable. And if I didn't get involved, then like I think I lose maybe a couple $100 to end the session. Obviously that didn't happen. We were in the game for 20,000, the most that we've ever been in for ever, out for 9960, and we're booking an L on this one. So hopefully enjoyed this one. Hopefully enjoyed the transparency. At the end of the day, that's all we got. And always trying to pump out more poker content for you guys, and we'll get better. We'll improve. That's all I got. Hopefully enjoyed this one. It hurt. This one definitely hurt, but we'll bounce back hopefully when we get back home. But got a lot of cool trips planned. Got a meetup game soon. You'll see the videos there. Maybe I won't donk off. Who knows? But yeah, I'll definitely be back at the lodge as well. Play more live streams. More opportunities in the future. Not the end of the road. See you guys next time.